to designate at the table, and let's get together soon and sort of scope out the issues in advance so none of them take us by surprise. The final issue that I want to mention, and then I can take questions, I think this is about right timing-wise, concerns something that my friend Marcia Sells here from another community mentioned to me a long time ago. And it was really the reason that I introduced a motion in council to deal with this question of EIRs, which you just heard about in connection with several of the projects. Marcia and others have said for a long time that they have concerns about the manner in which EIRs are prepared, namely that the developer has the opportunity to hire a consultant, the consultant prepares the EIR, and then the city has a legal obligation to check it. And the city does that. But other cities do this in a different way. Other cities have the city itself contract for the preparation of the environmental report, and then they allow the developer to pay for it. And so a couple of my colleagues and I put some legislation in this week to try to see if we can move Los Angeles in that direction as well. To get there, we're going to need the help of this association and others who are interested to come down and testify. So that's a little slice of the issues that we're working on. I can't tell you how much I appreciate having the chance to be here after 6 years. We started out in the Ventura Club, and now we're here. And I'm glad we're here, because one thing that is always so heartening is to see how full this room is every time I come. And I've said this to you before, Richard, and I mean it. I mean, it really gives me goosebumps to think that when you put out a flyer advertising free food, but also mentioning that I'm here, that folks, that anyone would actually bother coming. I'm very touched, I'm very flattered, and I very much appreciate the chance to be here with you tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Couple things before we go to questions, Mark. First of all, on this environmental impact report, who selects the consultant? Many of you, that may just seem kind of a technical question, but think about it for a second. If the developer is hiring the EIR consultant, who is the developer going to hire? Someone who is objective, impartial, or someone who will give a report as directed. So it is a major, major issue, and an issue that developers are going to fight like crazy, because they want that report to come in and say, there is no problem with my 300,000 square foot project, there is no increase in traffic, and there should be no mitigation required by the city for my teeny little project. So it's a real important issue. Number two, I kind of teased earlier, but I need to kind of clarify it. Jack Weiss will be running for city attorney. At this point, he is of the announced candidates, probably the favorite to become the next city attorney for Los Angeles. Rocky Delgadillo is termed out and must leave office in 2009. So we have Jack here, friend of the community, running for city attorney. Bob Hertzberg, also friend of the community, former Speaker of the Assembly. He is rumored to be thinking about running for city attorney. So we may end up with two friends of Sherman Oaks running for extremely important.
You're going to get a local boy either way.
So that was what I was referring to earlier, kind of the ironic aspect of people in the room here. We're now going to take questions, and we changed the format a little, because I know there are a number of Buckley questions, so we try to organize them. And John Eisen has been working on them, and will be alternating questions with Matt Epstein, who will ask the questions that do not relate to the Buckley School. One thing that everyone should recognize is that we don't have time to ask all questions, but number one, the most important part of the meeting, to me at least, is the opportunity after we're done with the written questions for you to come up and speak with the councilman and explain to him what is important. He can't get from here to that door without going through a lot of people, so this is your opportunity to discuss one-on-one issues. Number two, we take all these questions and we send them directly to the councilman. not to a deputy who may kind of take some questions out or something, but directly to him. So he will receive in the next couple of days all your questions, so he'll get a feeling of what the concerns are. With that,
but if you're lucky, John Pellico will also get the questions as well.
Exactly. Let me start with Matt Epstein, and then we'll go next to John Isaac.
Okay, and also some of the questions that you have here don't relate to the councilman. Some of them are county issues, or these aren't in his district questions. So if I don't ask you a question, it's not because I don't think it's the absolute best question in the world. It also might be because I can't read your writing. The first group of questions, I'm going to ask like 5 or 6 of them, because this is most of them. And you covered some of the points, but I still do want to go ahead and ask these questions. And when I'm reading these questions, if you can stand up so he can address you as well. This is the first one's from Connie. These are about development issues in Sherman Oaks. This is from Connie Hearn. Are you still here? They're back there. Okay. Why does almost every project covered by the Ventura Boulevard specific plan seem to require exceptions? Is the plan so onerous? So the second part of that is city planners seem to have a vision of the future Sherman Oaks drastically different from today's, including higher density. What part of the city most closely resembles their vision for Sherman Oaks?
That's interesting.
That is. Okay, that's one question. The next one is from Randy Beckwith. When is all the development along Ventura Boulevard and Van Nuys and Sepulveda going to stop? There's been no acknowledgement of current traffic overload, and it'll only get worse. Do you ever turn down developers for projects? Susan Ryan, if you can stand up. Billy Blank has been vacant for several months. It's an eyesore. What are the future plans for that? Hayden Pedersen, I don't know if I got their first name right. What is the best process for limiting the size of houses in neighborhoods where smaller houses are and have been standard for many years? It seems that most developer contractors will build absolute maximum size on any parcel of property they can get. We do have a hillside maximum construction. Let's see. We do have a hillside maximum construction. Now do we not? I believe that's the question.
Do you think I'm like a Russian chess genius? And I'm just keeping all this?
These are all development issues. You're going to cover them all. And the last one's from Ron Spiegel. You promised, and if you have any questions, just ask me. I'll cover it again. You promised in a previous visit no more developers to receive variances to the master plan for development. Since that time, every developer that wants to build finds Sherman Oaks a very easy place to get variances. What happened to your promise?
No, Ron, Randy, Connie. All right, but recency primacy. I missed Connie was the first, and I think Ron was the last. Randy. Hayden. Susan.
Very good.
I understand the concerns. I don't think I would have said precisely that, because you can never say precisely that, because while variances may be something you do not like, people have a right to seek them, and sometimes the city grants them. And I can't promise the city will never do that. But yesterday, I sent a letter to the planning director, Gail Goldberg. Do we have any copies of the letter?
I can get a copy.
Okay.
I'm going to email them out.
So Beverly will email a copy of the letter out, and maybe we can get the email address of the folks who asked the questions, that deal with this issue of getting the community together to do a solid evaluation of the specific plan. Because all the questions you ask are valid, and they will continue to come up year after year, whether or not I'm a council member. I mean, after I'm gone, the questions are going to come up, and they're going to become more acute, because property on Ventura Boulevard is going to become more valuable, and it's just going to become more and more desirable for people to build there, even in locations that previously looked not too interesting in the past. And so what I want to do right now is get the data from DOT, get the data from building and safety, get the data from planning about how many variances have been granted, what kinds have granted, what has the impact been on the residential community, and really get critical data from DOT on critical intersections. If we get that data and we bring the community to the table, as Ellen suggested, then perhaps we can come up and we can build a better mousetrap. a better mousetrap for the community, because I recognize how frustrating these issues are, and I recognize that they are chronic issues that are sort of built in to the plan that we have now. So if we get those answers, perhaps we can create better answers so that these questions won't come up in the future.
Okay, I just want to add one thing.